hear more about is your beginning in the monastic life. So could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved and became the monk that you are?
Okay, now, well, it's pretty easy. Well, I have been a monk for 30 years now.
And he's a young man.
I'm not going to reveal my age, you know. Well, I think you have to learn to count, okay?
Yeah.
So if I have been a monk for 30 years, I became a monk at the age of 10. So now you know my age. So this is how it happened. Our house is very close to the temple in my village in Chittagong, Bangladesh. My parents are devout Buddhists. They go to the temple every day, and when they go to the temple, they also take me. So I was part of the temple program, and I was very familiar with the temple, and the monks of our village temple also loved me a lot. And so in that temple, there's a program like all village children should get together at 6 p.m. and we had to do chanting and meditation. So one day, we kids, that I was a kid, gathered at the temple. We did chanting, and on that day, my teacher came to our temple. So after the chanting, normally we have this, the practice. We go to the monk and bow to him. So we went to bow to all the monks, and especially my teacher. He was a senior monk. He's still alive, by the way. And after paying our obeisance to him, then he asked a question from all of us. Who would like to become a novice monk? And all the kids were very quiet. And me? I raised my hand. I want to be a monk.
This guy.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, and he knew, my teacher knew my parents. Mm-hmm. So there's a monastic practice without the permission from the parents. The monks cannot ordain anybody.
Okay.
So he asked me to ask my parents to come following day. So I went home and I told my parents, our teacher would like to see you in the morning. So, and they went to the temple following morning, and he said, oh, your son would like to become a monk. So what do you think? So my parents said, okay, no problem. They gave the permission, right? And of course we are 6 brothers, 1 sister. So my parents thought, one son, one child would be fine.
Just
yeah,
give
right?
one of them away.
Yeah. But parents are parents. They just give the permission because in Bangladesh, among the Buddhist community, Buddhist people, there's a custom that every Buddhist boy should become a monk for a short time. So originally, to be honest, I became a monk for a short time, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. So anyway, so when my parents gave permission, my teacher took me to his temple and ordained me. And when I was ordained, and of course there were other novice monks too, of our age. And we had to wake up early in the morning, at 4 in the morning. And we had to do chanting, meditation. And I think I was a good a novice monk at the time. I was very good, I think.
For 10 years old, I
Yeah.
think that's wonderful.
And I behaved. And my teacher sensed something in me, right? And he asked me one day, would you like to go to Sri Lanka to receive the monastic training? Then I said yes. So then he selected a group of novice monks, like 7 of us. So my teacher sent us to Sri Lanka, and we were sent to Sri Lanka to a big monastery in Colombo. And at that time, that monastery housed about 150 monks. So in that monastery, they have a program. Every day you get up at 4 in the morning. From 4:30 to 6, all monks should gather in the meditation hall. You have to do chanting, you have to do meditation. Then this, the program continues, the other programs in the day, till 9 in the evening. So, especially I really loved the morning program, the early morning. Like, now imagine 100 monks, more than 100 monks, doing the chanting together. Now imagine the atmosphere, the environment. It's so soothing, so peaceful, so beautiful, and so calming and relaxing. So one day, as we were doing the chanting together, I stopped doing the chanting. I just wanted to listen to the chanting done by all these monks. So when I did so, I felt very happy. I think genuinely it was the moment I truly fell in love with the monastic life.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful. And after that I thought I should continue my journey as a monk.
When I was 10, I was watching TV and eating Dunkaroos. That's what I was doing.
As we were doing this, I was doing meditation and chanting.
I know. To each their own, I guess. I think that's the most amazing thing in the world,
Yeah.
how you describe it. And I can just imagine what it would be like, because I've been in spaces with chanting, and I can imagine that surreal experience of just the vibration of the space and just uplifting in that moment.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I wish.
Yeah, it was amazing. Even now, we see the same practice going on. So anyways, after that, I focused on my studies. And I was brought up and trained in monastic setting for 10 years in Sri Lanka. As we studied Pali, Sanskrit, Buddhist philosophy, Sinhala, the Sri Lankan language, we had to go to the forest monasteries for the retreats. 1 day meditation retreat, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, sometimes 3 months. So it is a part of this monastic training. As you gain the secular education, monastic education, you have to go to retreats to gain the experiential knowledge. And at the beginning, meditation was kind of strange, We were thinking of so many things, right? We were kids,
Yeah.
We were kids. No, like we were, I would say the teen monks.
Teen monks.
Teen monks. Teen monks. So, as teen monks, as teenagers, right? Of course, you love to do so many things. And you meditate, but your mind is going after so many things. And then there was a time that even we thought, my goodness, sometimes, even the negative thoughts pop up. And when such thoughts pop up, sometimes I thought, maybe something's wrong with me. How come it's happening? I'm a monk. But then I talked to my meditation teachers, and they said it's normal. That is not an abnormal thing. That is a normal thing. At the beginning of meditation practice, you experience such a thing, such a mind. But as you continue to practice, as you deepen in the meditation practice, then those thoughts will stop popping up. Right? So, and we tried that. It's a beautiful experience. On the top of a mountain in this forest monastery, we have practiced meditation under the trees, in the caves. And now, when you meditate under the tree, you see there are, the animals and the monkeys playing. They are watching us.
They're playing and you're meditating.
And of course, and one thing was, of course, the Buddha also talked about monkey mind. Our teachers always talked about monkey mind. So we all have that monkey mind. Sometimes here we call it gorilla mind.
Gorilla.
Because, right?
Stronger than others.
Yes, that's right. So if you live a life with a monkey mind, you're not going to be happy. So you have to train that monkey mind. You have to make it stable. And through constant practice, you can calm and discipline your mind. And it helps. Then I even now as I speak of this, I get that experience. Like I have this beautiful picture of the forest monastery over there, on the top of a mountain, how we practice meditation. And at the same time, we also had fun, because we are, as I said, teen novice monks, as we practice meditation. At the same time, when we go for a walk, we run, we scream. Sometimes we would climb on the trees,
You become the monkeys to learn more.
Yeah. And then, again, this is just a normal thing. But as we grow up as teen monks, it was tough, but later on, we became part of the serious practice. It's like, I remember at the age of 18, 19, I felt like going back to lay life because it was tough. I think it was tough because now it's a biological thing.
Yeah.
Right?
You're an 18-year-old boy trying to live a monk's life, so.
Right? So then I thought this is going to be difficult for me. I was almost deciding to go back to lay life. But before I made that decision, I talked to a senior monk who loved us so much, who was very kind. Even when you look at him, you feel like he's enlightened, like so happy, so serene, so peaceful, Just by seeing him, you become so calm, right? But he was very friendly, easy to talk to, and he cared for us. So one day I went to him, I bowed to him, then I explained to him what I was going through. He said, look, I'm getting all these wild thoughts. And, I don't think it's not nice as a monk living with these wild thoughts.
Conflicting.
Yeah. So I want to go back to lay life. And then he said, oh, don't worry, this is natural, this is normal, right? So just continue your practice and then you will be fine. So he taught actually based on Buddha's teaching, as I talked before, shifting attention. Learn to do shifting attention. If your mind goes to something negative, put your attention to something positive. Like if you're thinking of angry thought, shift your attention to goodwill thought, compassionate, kind, loving thoughts. If you're getting all these greedy thoughts, shift attention to renunciation, right? Renouncing those thoughts. If you feel like, or if you have a thought of harming somebody, shift your attention to non-harming, like non-violence, right? So when you do this, it actually helps. It calms you down immediately. But it wasn't the real solution for me at the time. And I knew the power of that shifting attention. But again, I'm still a young monk. So then I was asked to come to this temple, right? And at the beginning, first I said, no, I don't want to go. I never thought of coming to this part of the world, by the way. Right? It wasn't my dream. But this just happened. Then my teachers here at this temple, they said, no, don't worry. Because I love studying, those days, as I was having this tough life, I was also studying. I got double promotion twice in the monastic college. And I finished a prestigious degree called Royal Pandit degree at the age of 17. That was a record at the time. So I passed that degree. And I was inspired by some prominent monks at the time who were internationally known. And they used to come to a monastic college to give talks. And their talks inspired me. And they emphasized on one thing: education, education, education. If you get a good education, you're going to have a great future, bright future. Then you can survive anywhere. So I was focused on education too, studies too. And then I was aiming for PhD in Sri Lanka. Right? And then when they asked me to come here, I said, look, I want to finish my studies first. Then they said, no, you can continue studies here in this country.
In Canada.
In Canada. So I believed them. I trusted them. And when I came here, and of course, the language.
A little bit different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So without English, nothing can be done, right? So I went to ESL classes, did TOEFL, and went to university. So I studied here from BA honors to PhD. And then as I was studying at U of T, the University of Toronto, I was appointed as a Buddhist chaplain. So now, as I became the Buddhist chaplain to the University of Toronto, all of a sudden I see some students coming, they're making an appointment and coming to see me. Then I said, okay. So then every young person who came to see me came with a specific problem. Every story is a problem. Okay?
Yeah.
So then I'm also young, right? There was a time that I was thinking about, like, look at these young boys and girls, how lucky they are. They are enjoying handing the holding the hands of each other, right? Smiling, laughing, right? And of course, beautiful costumes, outfits, right?
Oh, because in this part of the world, a little bit different from
Yeah.
where you're from.
And then, I thought they were happy. But when they come to see me, I see that, my goodness, you name it, any kind of relationship, right? In all these types of relationships, you see a specific problem. Then they, in their story, they are speaking up of their own misery, suffering they are going through, right?
Yeah.
So then I was thinking about the Buddha. Buddha talked about dukkha, the suffering, the misery in life. And he said there is a cause of suffering, right? So it is a desire, right? It is a craving. So then I thought, my goodness, I didn't realize this before. So now, after coming here, listening to these young people, they are complaining about the life. They are complaining about the life that I thought it was a good one, like happy one, right?
From the outside, you kind of were like, I'm on this side of the fence, and it looks really good out there.
That's right.
And they're looking at you like it looks really good on your side of the fence because you're all calm and peaceful the whole time.
That's right.
A young leader is what you were at the time. Right?
Yeah.
They were coming to you for advice and guidance.
Yeah, so actually I learned so much from our young people, the friends who come to see me, Every time they come, they tell a story. That is a lesson for me, by the way. I really enjoy it. Yeah. So my technique was deep listening, based on love and compassion, right? So out of compassion, I was listening to their story, and then, whatever I know, right? I give them some advice, share some wisdom, how to overcome this, talk about letting go, talk about meditation, right? All these things. So, after coming here, I think this society, made me strong. Like, solidified my faith, my commitment to the monastic life.
Yeah.
And then I decided to devote my life to serving the humanity. And this is why I do all kinds of programs here. Teaching meditation, counseling, doing compassionate visits to the hospitals, senior homes, giving the public talks, talking to the young people in the high schools, the universities, making an awareness of the happy life through the practice of meditation, through the cultivation of human values, all these things, right? So by doing this, it's making my life very meaningful. I'm very happy to say that I feel that I'm very productive. I'm living a meaningful life, a happy life, a life of service, right? And so I talk to anybody who is seeking help, who is seeking for spiritual support. So I don't worry about their religion or the ethnicity, whoever is there, right? And I try to be very friendly, kind and compassionate, and try to explain the true meaning of life, and try to help them to live a meaningful life, And for past 20 years, I have been doing this actually in various levels, and I feel so happy about it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, and it's been my pleasure to meet with you again and again. You never really refuse, which is awesome. And thank you for explaining more about mindfulness and about what it is you do here and your path as a monk.
Oh, thank you, Natalie, for coming here. It was a great pleasure to have your presence in the temple. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Bhante.